Boxes to builds, another Japanese iron that we've got to fix, and we have two, not one, but two subjects we're going to talk about. Let's go find out. Welcome back to my golf shop, Jim McCleary, and again we find ourselves in the repair shop, the fix-it shop, the whatever you want to call it shop where we deal with the clubs. And Chris from Texas has sent us a set of Miras, or Mira Geikens as the case may be. The little logo up here is Mira Geiken, okay? And this is a CB 1008, right? CB 1008. And it is I would call it their version of a forgiving players club. If you notice, it does have a bit of a cavity. There is a bit of depth on the bottom here where the muscle is at, but it's a fairly small cavity. But it does have progressive offset, right? You would think that all the Miras are like zero-player clubs. So this one has a little bit of offset. It could be quite playable. The other part that you don't get to see is that. See that leading edge right there? All right, that's killed. That's what I would call a killed leading edge when it's down like that. And it's not butter knife small in the sole, but it is, you know, it's not in it won't be in the large category, that's for certain. So what are we doing today? Well, we're doing two things. So you saw the one where I do the whichever corner it comes up in. We did the Titleist DCIs, and we talked about taking an iron apart by hand and finishing it off so it looks pretty nice. One of the key components to putting that build together is the guy that wanted it done wanted to ensure a particular swing weight. And using the type of shafts that we had to do, I had to basically dry fit one to see how much weight I had to add in order to get to the projected swing weight, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is, number one, we are going to take apart an iron, all right, that's subject one, take apart an iron off of a graphite shaft. This is a steel fiber 95, all right, steel fiber 95 from Aerotech. It's an R shaft, and we are going to put in some heavy steel shafts. And he's looking for another swing weight-ish, but I thought, well, this is a pretty good topic because I always get asked a lot about swing weight. So we're going to do two different things together, so hang on. So the first thing we got to do is take this apart. And no, I'm not going to grab it, and I'm not going to pull it apart because this graphite is really, really soft when you heat it, right? And what makes it soft is basically the epoxy in between the strands of the graphite. That's what gives out. And so when you do that, you basically destroy the shaft. So we're not going to do that. But we're going to do two other things I'm going to show you. It's going to look awful at first, but bear with me. Okay, again, like everything else, we need the Bernzomatic, and it's the butane torch, and then we need my box knife that I like. Now, I'm going to stand back a little bit. Now, this was put together. If you look, this is a nice little ferrule. It looks pretty good. But there's a gap there, and these things are pretty stout. All right, they're very, very stout, so I have to heat them up more than the average ferrule. So we're going to do that first. And again, I'm doing it upright here. I'm going to kind of do it back from here. And this ferrule was cracked. You see all that flame coming up? I've got to do that so it'll move because this thing is so heavy. All right, so I got to pull it down. We got to move kind of quick. Now, I know you guys are panicking. Oh my God, Jim, look at that burn you just put on the top of that. Well, you'd be right. There's a lot of smoke on that one, but we got to keep the heat going. Okay, now I got it plenty hot and I'm doing this, so if you look, there's like two rings. It's really kind of shiny and then really kind of smoky there. I got to really pull this, so hang on. All right, I got it out. Now I got to clean it and finish it, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when we're all done. All right, I got it all cleaned out. Now a little trip to the Glanzwatch wheel. So went to the unstitched buffing wheel with the yellow wax on our Glanzwatch, and this is what we get. Right back to the way we started. Okay, right back to the way we started. And that's the part of it. So when you burn them on the outside, you know, if you don't have what I have, you know, a polisher, a polish of some type will will take it off. Normally that smoky stuff will wipe right off. It's the stuff that's in this neck of the woods that's really going to be a bit of an issue. And you take that, if you get to it quick while it's still hot, it most likely will just rub off. But a small polished barkeeper's friend, the stuff that you can find in that neck of the woods, in the UK there's another name for it, but you get it and you just wipe it like that and it's pretty much done. Now I got to weigh the head and we put it in line. I got one more to do and then we'll start talking about swing weight, so give me a moment. All right, so we got everything cleaned up. We got everything weighed. We got the shaft's spine found, and we've got it all ready to go. Now when we're talking about swing weight, which we're getting ready to go do, is you start with about a 46 to 48 gram grip. You stand with a standard weight head, and I'll say about a 256 gram 5 iron, and then they progress from there, and a 120 gram shaft, and that gets you around that D2 range. Now, the swing weight's basically a teeter-totter effect. You put more over here, this goes up. You put more over here, this goes up, right? And that's how this works. So what are we doing? We went from an I-95 steel fiber shaft. It was slightly short, and it came out to a C5. It was extraordinarily light, and as expected, right? So you went from 120 to 95. That was quite a few drops in swing weights. You went length. Every half inch is worth some swing weight, right? And that was shorter, so that would have made it lighter. And we put a mid-size grip on the back of it, which made it lighter still. So you went from D2 to C5. That's fairly substantial change. Well, now we're going to a 128 gram, which is going, well, it's 125, but it's coming out 128, so there it is. So 128, so it's going to be just a hair heavier. Not a lot, because when we trim it down, a lot of that weight's going to disappear. Then we have a standard weight head. Mura, if nothing else, their precision is off the charts. It's just fantastic. The weights are dead in, the fits are really nice and clean. It's really hard to knock that quality of the build. They really do a good job. And then we're going to put on a 56 gram mid-size grip. So that's going to teeter it down this way. The weight's going to teeter it that way, just one. So they're about a wash, right? Almost a wash. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go see how it affects it and see what adding of weights we're going to do over here. So let's go over there. All right, so what we have here is the swing weight scale. It is now sitting at C6, as you guys can see, and it is cut to a normal, well, I'm sorry, it's sitting at C6, but you see how the swing weight scale is up. So we're going to move it out to where it balances. So right about there. So we're sitting here with no grip on in the head. We're sitting about E1. That's a really good thing for us, because grips normally take about 10 grams. So now we have this guy. We're going to put this on. So I'm going to get in front of you and attach it. All right. So now you see that we have it. I just basically taped it to the top. Now we're going to move it so it balances. So it looks like right around D2. So not too bad. I mean, right there is where the customer wanted it, where Chris wanted it. However, I want to show you a little something. So if you're running a little light, what you would do is you take something like that, which is a lead weight and various sizes. This is a 4 grammer, just to show you what the differences are. So we're sitting at 2 grams. If I attach it to the other side, there, so I've attached it to the other side as 4 grams. So now what should we see? And as we saw, that it was supposed to be 2 grams, or every 2 grams is 2 swing weight points. So that was 4, and we went up to D4. So that's where you can kind of see that. Now, the other thing you have to take into consideration is the ferrule. The ferrule is going to weigh a little bit more, so it's going to come out just slightly heavy, and we're going to put another couple layers of tape, so it's going to balance each one out. So it looks like we're going to go D2, but if you guys wanted to see how the swing weight worked, there you go. So you start off with the 120, 48, and your standard weight out here, and then you start balancing it in your head. If you add here, what do you have to add here? If you take away from there, what do you have to add here? If you take away from here, what do you have to add. So right there we did pretty good. So there you have it. We did a little swing weight. We know that Chris in Texas is going to be real happy with the feel because he sent me the parts. And he's going to like the swing weight, and all we have to do is bend them for him. So they're all going to be spine flowed, put together nice and glued. They're going to be looking good. Nice, good looking Mira heads. I think he's really going to like them, keeping the ball down in flight in Texas. So if you got any questions on the swing weights or anything like that, just put them down in the show notes below and we'll go from there. Again, if you guys are interested in keeping your clothes clean and you don't want to, or if you're a barbecuer and you just want to keep your clothes clean, you want to keep it off of you, we still have the McGolf aprons. They're made in America, grown in America, the whole 9 yards. And they come in the large and the extra large. I'm a pretty big guy and mine fits really, really good. Everything's adjustable, very long straps, and 3 pockets down at the bottom. So if you're interested, just send us an email at mcgolfshop@roadrunner.com and Mrs. McGolf will take care of you. As always, guys, thank you, and let's see your scores go low.